Broadcasting from the Tasman Lake Lodge Studios, this is Sporting Journal Radio. Presented by OnX. Know where you stand with OnX. Now here's your host, Bret Amundson.
All right, welcome to the show. I'm Bret Amundson. Thank you for tuning in on this radio station right here by demand, sportingjournalradio.com, or by downloading the podcast wherever you get your favorite podcasts, or maybe you're watching this right now on our Facebook, YouTube, or Instagram. Dan Amundson is with us as always. Dan, how you doing?
Hey, doing well.
Big show this week. Cory Loeffler is back. We like having Cory on, but he is announcing a big event coming up at the Woods in Warroad coming up in just a couple of weeks, September 11th. It's a big novice goose calling contest. So if you have ever wanted to take part in a calling contest, but were maybe intimidated or nervous because you were worried about who you were going to go up against, this is a great contest for you, and there's a lot of prizes. We're going to tell you more about it. Nick Marvin from the Woods will also be joining us here in just a couple of minutes. Now, Randin Olson will also be coming on the show. He's been finding walleyes in some weird places using some weird presentations. He's going to tell us how he's doing it coming up in a little bit. And then Joe Henry will join us here on the show as well to talk about some late season walleye patterns on Lake of the Woods, as well as some grouse hunting opportunities up there in northern Minnesota that are maybe overlooked. We'll even talk about waterfowl hunting up on Lake of the Woods. There's some really cool waterfowl opportunities at Lake of the Woods that Joe Henry will tell us about. Dan, who is sponsoring this week's show?
Yeah, well, speaking of Lake of the Woods Tourism. Plan a trip to Lake of the Woods at lakeofthewoodsmn.com. Ottertail Lakes Country, find your inner otter at ottertaillakescountry.com. Haybale Heights Campground and Resort on Devil's Lake. Plan a trip to Devil's Lake at haybaleheights.com. OnX Hunt, know where you stand with OnX. Prairie Sportsman, watch episodes anytime at prairiesportsman.org, and the Woods Outdoor Expo hunting event on September 9th, 10th, and 11th in Warroad.
That's right. That's going to be a cool event. We'll tell you more about that here in just a little bit. First, though, our pick of the week, ladies and gentlemen. This came from our relative, my cousin Jeff Amundson, that he caught on his Spy Point trail camera. That's a nice buck right there. So we have all been flooding Jeff's phone with messages asking if we can come hunt on his property. But Dan, as we know, he's been up with our buddy Jim Riley up in Alaska fishing right now, and he's been sharing pictures, all sorts of pictures while he's been up in Alaska, catching halibut and salmon and all sorts of cool fish up there in Alaska like a catch, like that one. And he's got a pretty sweet hat on, too, in that photo, if I remember correctly. Finding Fern Feathers Hunting Podcast hat, which you can find at sportingjournalradio.com. A couple of thank yous, too. I want to just thank the Bluffland Whitetails Banquet for having me out to do some emceeing. Last Friday night, I was down in St. Charles, Minnesota for the annual Bluffland Whitetails Banquet. It was great to see those guys again after being off last year. Full crowd. We had a packed house as people were raising money for the Bluffland Whitetails group and they give away so many guns down there at the Moose Lodge. We're doing reverse bingo right here is what's going on. So if you get a number called on your car, that's a good look right there, Dan. Nice job. If you get a number called, you have to sit down in reverse bingo. So there's a few people that walked away from that banquet with multiple guns or gift cards for guns to go pick up after the banquet was over. But thank you, Bluffland Whitetails Association. Follow them on social media or find their website to learn more about what they're doing for deer hunters down in southeastern Minnesota. And Dan, as you know, before that, we went to Game Fair. Hadn't been to Game Fair for a couple of years. It was great to get back out there, stretch our legs. And it was Tiny's first trip to Game Fair. So we let Tiny run around a little bit. And what did she do? She found every little bit of water that she could, including jumping off the dock and being in the pond there at Game Fair. And then Eukanuba had a cooling tent with a bunch of little doggy pools, kiddie pools that the dogs could go in. And then, of course, when we were leaving, she found this watering hole. I think it was just supposed to be a big dog bowl for them to drink out of, but of course Tiny is tiny and fit right in that thing perfectly. So, and it was 93 degrees that day at Game Fair. She was a scorcher, so I almost climbed in with her. That would have been interesting.
Way too warm.
Yeah, way too warm. But yeah, anyway, it was a great week. We're excited for fall. We're going to be talking a lot about fall here on the show, including the big fall hunting outdoor expo that's taking place up at the Woods in Warroad. Nick Marvin and Cory Loeffler will join us to talk about their sale event. There's some deals on gear that you're not going to believe. And then Cory will tell us about the Novice Goose Calling Contest when we come back.
The best deals of the year on fall hunting gear are coming.
The Woods Fall Outdoor Expo is back at the Woods in Warroad, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, September 9th, 10th, and 11th. And this year, the world's largest novice goose calling contest takes place Saturday, September 11th, with over $10,000 in prizes. North American goose calling champion Cory Loeffler will be giving seminars starting at noon, with the contest kicking off at 2. The Woods Outdoor Expo is back September 9th through the 11th at the Woods in Warroad. Learn more at thewoodsgoods.com. Well, hunting season is almost here, and if you're like me, you're really excited about it. You've been waiting for it for a long time, and that means getting your gear ready, getting your gear out of storage, maybe getting new gear, and there's a lot of options and opportunities for some new gear and getting some great deals on it, including an event that's going to take place in northern Minnesota that we're going to talk about right now, because this is something you're going to want to put on your calendar, and it's happening very soon here in just a couple of weeks. So we're going to bring on Nick Marvin right now. Nick, how's it going?
Good, Bret. How are you?
I'm doing well. You're with the Woods, and that's up in Warroad, Minnesota. Tell us about your store up there and your location and what you guys do.
That's right. Well, thanks for having us on. We've been in business since 1987. We're in Warroad on the shores of Lake of the Woods, and started out as a small gun shop, archery shop, have expanded and grown into a 15,000 square foot full-fledged sporting goods store. Our focus is still on hunting and fishing, but we do a pretty good camping business, quite a bit of casual clothing, and in recent years we've started to expand into athletics and hockey and baseball and things like that. So that's what we do. Again, we've been here a long time, doing it a long time, and plan to continue that going forward. One thing we've always done in the fall season is have a fall promotion or two, and our biggest one has annually been the weekend after Labor Day. For us, being on Lake of the Woods, people are fishing up till the very end, and September fishing can be very, very good, but it feels like once we flip that calendar into September, all the hunting stuff really kicks in, and this promotion has been one of our biggest for years and years. We've done it for probably 30-some years now, and it's always a fun one.
And this is it's the Woods Outdoor Expo?
Correct.
So can we talk about some of the sale items that you're going to have there? Because there's one in particular. I texted you about it. I was like, you got to be kidding me. This is what you're going to sell these for? Can we?
Yeah. What I'd like to do, Bret, if I could, is I'll just run down some high-level things.
Sure.
Honestly, for all of you listening and watching, there's going to be hundreds of things on sale. Some of it will get posted online. A lot of it will be in papers, radio, different things like that, but it's too much for us to talk about in any one setting. So the best thing you can do is call us or stop in and check it out. But we try to hit every category that we represent in the hunting world. So we're gonna have some hunting clothing on sale. We got a scent blocker drencher suit, both youth and adult sizes. You'll be able to get into an insulated hunting suit for under $100. Bret, I think the one you talked about was in the waterfowling area. It was the Avian AXF feeder 6-pack Goose decoys on sale for $100. So that's a smoking deal. Normally they're $349.99, so that's going to be a good one. We sell a ton of box blinds for the deer hunters out there. You know, your bank stump blinds, shadow hunters, muddies, hawks. All of those are $200 off, and we sell tons of them, and that weekend will be huge for those type of products. For those into the guns and ammo, we have secured quite a good quantity of 9mm. So we got some stuff from Federal and CCI. We're going to be able to sell a 50-round box of FMJs for $14. So that'll be a good one. I think they'll move well. Archery stuff, we got some bows on sale. We got crossbows on sale, Raven crossbows, couple $100 off. We got targets on sale. We're going to have a few guns. I know everybody knows guns are in short supply, but there'll be some guns on sale. So, lots of good things, and should be fun.
Yeah, when I saw the price that you're going to sell that 6-pack avians for, I was like, oh, okay, those are going to go quickly. And this is all, you have to come into the store during the sale to get this stuff, right? So no ordering, no pre-buying or anything like that. And this is going to kick off, it's the 9th, 10th, and 11th of September.
Correct. Yep. And this one, as you just mentioned, is in store only. We do online things, we do online promotions, but
Sure.
This one has traditionally been focused on driving traffic to our location for a number of reasons. One is we typically offer some deals like this where it's to our advantage if there's a bunch of different avenues to sell it. And then two, we work really hard to bring industry professionals and manufacturers representatives into our building for extra knowledge, extra expertise. Sometimes customers may not want to talk to one of us. They might want to talk to somebody directly from Benelli or PSE or Hoyt or whatever it happens to be. So all those guys are coming in-house. They'll be here Friday. They'll be here Saturday. And it's a great way for those looking for extra information, extra insight, to come and get that because there's nowhere else up here you can do it.
So you're bringing in all these experts, and then I hear that you're bringing in Cory Loeffler, and I was like, wait a minute, I thought you said you were bringing in experts. No, so
yeah, it was a snafu. The guys were working hard on the promotion, and they said, well, we reached out to a guy named Cory, and he said he wants to be here. And I thought, oh, great, we're in trouble now. So, anyway, no, Cory's awesome. The Goose Wizard always does a great job, and he's kind of taken something that we didn't plan, but had as an idea to a whole nother level, and it's going to be an absolute blast. We're super pumped. It's developing quickly, and it's going to be a really, really good time. It's going to be on Saturday the 11th, and I think we'll let Cory kind of touch on it from there.
Cory, how's it going?
Yeah, Hey, it's going great. It was tough to bite my tongue when you guys were talking about me back there, but most of it was true. But yeah, I said, hey, I'm free that September 11th weekend. I'd love to come up to the expo. I've been up there in the past, and a lot of times my schedule just doesn't line up with it. I'm typically traveling. I was off that weekend, so I thought I'd take a drive up north to beautiful Warroad, Minnesota, and go and hang out at the store for a couple days. They had asked if I'd put on a couple seminars and arrange a goose calling contest. I said, sure, I can do the seminars. Let me try and round up a few prizes for the goose calling contest. And about a half hour later, what do you know? We've got ourselves the world's largest novice goose calling contest on our hands that we threw together. It's we pretty much just designed this thing. Well, the list of prizes is nearly finalized, really close to it. I do know that for first place, oh man, you're looking at Vortex just came out with the new pair of binoculars, the Razor UHD binoculars with a window mount. Vortex is paying out all 5 places. Yeti's got a whole bunch of stuff coming, some awesome travel gear, some mugs, some swag. Onyx Hunt is giving away a membership to the first 30 participants that sign up for the calling contest. So it's going to be a $30 sign up fee, and you get the first 30 people get a $30 Onyx Hunt membership. So boom, there's the wash right there. Dive bomb decoys, they're going 5 dozen decoys for first, 3 dozen for second, and a dozen for third place. Hosted Hunts is doing something really big that we're going to be able to announce here in a couple days. Dakota Decoy stepped up huge as well. And Sitka Gear, another huge player in the game, they came through with a bunch of prizes all the way from first to fifth. And I think you're going to be picking up like a new Sitka suit for that first place prize. So absolutely jam-packed full of amazing prizes for that contest. I'm super pumped about it, and can't wait to see everyone and get going with it.
Yeah, that's quite an event. So you're talking like $10,000 in prizes for this thing?
It's quite a bit more than that, but 10,000 was a good number to stop at. So,
Wow, that's crazy. So, and this is the first time this has been held, right? So this will be the inaugural one. I mean, you're gonna have to go 20,000 next year now, probably. You should have started at like $5,000 this year, so you could go to 10 grand for next year. 10 grand out of the gate. That's pretty good, Cory.
oh, I do what I can.
All right. So when it comes to the contest, it's a novice contest, or is it going to be different levels? Did you talk about that?
We're going to do one contest.
We're
going to do one novice. Yep, we're going to do one novice contest, and it's going to be a big one. It's going to take a little while, so it's you can't have an open contest like a state or a regional or an open goose. You can't have won or placed in any of that stuff. You can't have won a novice contest in the past. You can't have placed in a world's competition, any of the world's competitions, nothing like that. We want new guys into the sport. We want new guys blowing goose calls and goose hunting, and new guys trying out that contest stage. So it's perfect. The biggest contests that I remember going to were always novice contests. They always drew the biggest crowd, way bigger than the opens typically. So we want to kick this thing off, and we want to do it right for all the participants out there, and the guys that are, maybe have never blown in a contest before, a little bit nervous about it. Hey, if that isn't a little bit of motivation, looking at that prize list, I think it can conquer most any fears of getting on stage with that.
Well, and for those guys that haven't done it and may be a little intimidated by it, knowing that you're going up against people in the same boat that you are. You're not going up against Cory Loeffler. You're going up against, other novice callers that are out there. I think that's a great idea.
Easy now. I'm washed up. I'm just a gardener, not a goose calling gun.
Yeah.
Well, and if I can jump in, the whole idea fits very well with our event and how we've run it for so long. In that, if you've never done any of it, that's fine. Come out ahead of time. Cory's doing his seminars. You can do one-on-one with Cory, and that fits in like all the other professionals who will be here. They're here to help. They're here to teach. They're here to share their knowledge because. Let's face it, we want to get more people involved in this type of stuff. So you can come early, you can get that knowledge from one of the best in Cory, and then go up on stage and show it off. So I'm really excited about that because I think we're going to have people that want to come out who've barely done any calling, that is, and then take a shot at it. It's going to be fun.
So when do the seminars take place? Like Cory, when are you going to be? Yeah, when are you going to be doing seminars, Cory?
On the flyer, 12 noon, I'm going to kick off with some goose calling basics, short reed goose calling basics, and field calling, or calling at honkers in the field. 1 p.m. we're going to crank it up a notch, and we're going to that one's titled Building a Contest Routine, some advanced goose calling, and some one-on-one practice right before the contest. And then at 2 p.m., that's when the big contest kicks off. And I don't know when it'll wrap up exactly. We're going to do 3 rounds, and we're going to have a stage. We're going to have judges. We're going to have a crowd. So it's going to be a blast.
Yeah, so you're actually going to get those guys kind of prepared to get on stage for the first time in your seminar right before that.
That's what the plan is. We'll be pretty good at winging it.
That's the Cory Loeffler way, though. Let's be honest.
I'll give them a few pointers and send them around to the back of the building to work on that part of their routine or something like that. But I'll do the best I can for sure.
Can you talk about who the judges are yet, or do you have guys to be judges, or is that something you like to kind of keep under wraps for now?
To be announced.
To be announced.
We're not going to let that information out too early. So
Sure.
We want to keep that a secret a little bit.
All right. And Nick, where can people find out more information about your big event, the Outdoor Expo, and then will you have I'm assuming the calling contest information will be there as well?
Yeah. So to learn more about us and our event, you could go to our website, thewoodsgoods.com. watch our social media. We've already, we're probably 3 weeks into various posts and teasers about some of the deals. Some of the stuff I talked about earlier is out there, but there's a lot more to come. In the next couple of weeks, if you're watching our social media, you'll learn a lot more about all the deals that are going to happen. So that's probably the best way. Facebook or Instagram, watch the Woods Goods, follow the Woods Goods. And then on the calling contest, that's also going to be all over social media. I think it already is. And there's information on there about the contest and also about how to call to get registered. So our phone number, which is 218-386-2590, is on there. We ask that you pre-register so that we can have everything organized and ready to go when the contest is set to begin. That'll also make sure the first 30 registrants get that $30 OnX membership free. So again, some incentive to get signed up early, and our staff is ready to take your calls.
All right, very good. That is the Woods Outdoor Expo. It's coming up September 9th, 10th, and 11th at the Woods. That's up in Warroad, Minnesota. Nick Marvin, of course, Cory Loeffler, and Dan is with us here too. Gentlemen, good luck with the event. Cory is doing it's like a flash mob thing going on there, or what? Cory's frozen up. All right. Well, Cory and Nick, good luck with everything coming up. And, of course, we'll keep you updated on any more details about the event here on the show, too. But good luck with everything, and thanks for being on the show today.
Devil's Lake is legendary, and this summer has been legendary for walleyes. Don't miss out. Call Haybale Heights Campground and Resort today to book one of their modern cabins on East Bay. The cabins are furnished with a full bathroom, kitchen, and all the amenities like high-speed internet, and are clean following CDC guidelines. Staying at Haybale Heights gives you full access to a private boat launch, fish cleaning station, and beach area. Learn more at haybaleheights.com. That's haybaleheights.com. Plan your trip to legendary Devil's Lake today.
Well, it's not hunting season yet. We're going to stick with fishing for a little bit longer. We'll talk fishing all the way through fall too, but we'll definitely be devoting more time to hunting as we get into the hunting seasons. But for now, some late summer fishing patterns is a topic of discussion, and we're going to bring on Randin Olson from Lockjaw Guide Service up in Otter Tail Lakes Country. Randin, how's it going?
It's going wonderful. It's finally cooling off. It's not 90 degrees. Life's good.
It's so nice. I know we've had some storms, a little bit of rain here this last week. The rain obviously is much needed. Prior to that rain, what were you seeing out there for, were the water levels still pretty low?
Yeah, all of our area lakes are pretty low right now. Still easily fishable, sorry. But you do got to watch out a little bit. You're going to nick a prop once in a while and stuff like that. But we're still catching plenty of fish. The fishing hasn't changed a whole lot with the water levels. Just people's attitudes towards getting out in the lake.
What have you been targeting mostly?
We've been hitting a lot of crappies and walleyes lately. More walleyes than anything else. And kind of been getting them in some pretty fun ways.
What?
Really, really, really shallow, like 2 to 6 foot. That's actually deeper than I think the last time we talked. They made it an extra foot deeper out there now. But
yeah, right.
And we've been using some oddball stuff, stuff that guys don't usually think of to throw for walleyes. We've been throwing like tube baits, chatter baits, spinner baits, jerk baits, kind of walk the dog, subsurface walk the dog baits, things like that. And the fish just love them. It's not something they're normally seeing. And in that shallow water, you're going for reaction strikes to begin with. So these baits kind of work perfect for doing that.
Now, when it comes to finding some of those fish in the shallower water like that and using some oddball type presentations, are you finding a variety of sizes or eater sizes? Are you finding some of the bigger fish too? Or what are you finding when you do stuff like that?
Say that again? I didn't quite understand it. Sorry.
What size of fish are you finding when you do this?
We're finding a lot of bigger fish up there. You'll catch a smaller fish, just like in that picture you showed. That one I think was like a 15-incher. But the majority of the fish you're catching up there are pretty good size. Yeah. And it's not that you're running into one big pack. The fish are a little spread out. This is August. Fish are kind of spread out in August. But you stick with this pattern and cover those big flats or rock piles or weed beds that you're fishing. The average size you'll pull out of there is going to be better than it is if you throw a jig and a minnow or a Lindy rig or kind of the go-tos for walleyes this time of year. So, yeah, the average size is quite a bit nicer.
Now, do you think that that's working because it's something different that maybe the walleyes haven't been seeing every day for the last few months out there? Or what do you think the reason is for that?
Yeah, I definitely think just to be having something new like that in front of those fish's faces is one of the biggest triggers for it. You got bass guys have been catching them on this stuff for years. It's just taken walleye fishermen a long time to catch up.
Yeah, but walleye fishermen don't listen to bass fishermen very often.
Well, you know what they say, God created bass so everybody could catch fish, right?
Right.
But yeah, this stuff has always worked. You know, guys in Devil's Lake have been using spinner baits for years.
Yeah.
For walleyes in the weeds and wood and stuff like that. And it just, for some reason, it doesn't click in our brains to try it out here. And it's been working.
Now, are you targeting, when you find these fish in that shallow water, are you finding them all day long? Is it mornings and evenings? Is it cloudy, sunny? Does it matter?
It does matter a little bit. It seems like they're up there all day long. They'll move out a little deeper. And when I say deeper, they'll move out to like 7 to 10 foot. That's kind of where they drift off to. But what you'll kind of notice, and what I've noticed, is the more you get towards the middle of the day, the better the bite gets. And the farther you get from the middle of the day, the worse the bite gets.
That doesn't make any sense.
Now, yeah, it doesn't. And my theory is you can watch the guys behind us in the mornings and evenings picking them off the weed lines like crazy. But we're getting them from, that mid-morning all the way till dark. We're getting them up there in 2 to 5 foot of water. And this time of year, you get a ton of those crayfish, the small bait perch. A lot of that bait system is stuck up in shallow water, real shallow. And then you get any kind of wind or anything, and it just groups them all together, and it's just easy pickings up there. They can't go nowhere. So I think that's just what it comes down to with these fish, is it's easier on them to get food, realistically. They don't have 30 feet of water to chase them. They've got 4 feet or 2 feet. So I think that's what's been causing this to be so good.
Are you experimenting with colors, or do you have some go-tos when it comes to fishing shallow like that?
One more time? My microphone's not working.
Are you experimenting with colors a little bit, or do you say, nope, I'm throwing a white jig at these guys?
I don't think color's a really big thing. I think this stuff's going by them so quick. You're looking at just reaction bites for the most part. You're running this stuff fast. Even like the tube baits and stuff, you're ripping it, and you're really working this stuff fast. So color-wise, you can kind of stay in the general ballpark of like the greens and whites and golds and stuff, but color hasn't made a huge difference up there.
When it comes to those plastics that you're using, are you using something that's got some scent to it, some sort of attractant, or is it more, again, just that, something's zinging past those fish and you're triggering that strike just with the aggressive presentations?
Yeah, the big triggering factor here has been the size. We're running, 1/2 ounce to 3/4 ounce chatterbaits, and same with the spinner baits. And then we're putting 5 to 7 inch swim baits on the back of those. So we got a pretty big profile down there. Same with the tubes. We're running 4.5 to 6 inch tubes. So you want that bigger bait down there, but that's probably the most important part of this. That's what they're up there for. One bigger meal is easier than 30 small ones. So that's kind of been the attitude we went with.
I've been hearing a lot about our show, the Prairie Sportsman episode that we filmed, the Muskie episode that we filmed, and I know a few guys that are planning to go to that lake that we filmed on. When are you gonna transition over to muskies, Randin?
I will be starting my muskie trips probably another week or so here. We got the moon phases coming up shortly. That's going to be a big time of year to get those fish. The muskie bite from some of my friends has already been picking up really good, and they're already getting some better fish. August is generally known as kind of the transition month when the nights start cooling off, the water temps cool off, and kind of midnight to sunrise is really the best time of day to be chasing those muskies. It's just going to get better and better from here on out. So, September's a big casting month. So get your spinach out and start ripping some baits because it's time to go fast.
What kind of water temperatures are you seeing out there? I know when it got real hot there and we had some mid 90s, I think we were touching 100 a little bit for air temps. People were saying, hey, leave the muskies alone for now. Are you seeing some water temps come back down to, normal temperatures for this time of year?
Yeah. The last week has been pretty normal. We've been sitting around 72 to 73, 74. Some of the small lakes are still a little warmer, but we're pretty much back to normal right now, minus the water level. It's kind of like every other August in the last 10 years. So that's good. We were getting dangerously close. We were starting to see tulibies and eel pout and things like that floating up to the surface just from the water getting too hot. But we've been able to correct that now. Water temps are back to normal and everything's right on track.
Well, that's good to hear. Just in time for me for hunting season, because I'm definitely it's that time of year, Randin, where it becomes a struggle for me to decide between the shotgun or the fishing pole. But you pretty much just spend every day in the fall fishing, or do you do a little bit of hunting too?
I love to hunt when I can. I got into bow hunting 3 years ago. It was probably the biggest mistake of my life. But yeah, it's. I think the fall is hard for any sportsman. You wake up and whether the weather's good or bad, it looks like a perfect day to be hunting or fishing. And I'm one of those guys that get excited when I see clouds in the sky and rain's falling and it's kind of crappy out, because that means nobody else is going to go out there and I'm going to have the lake to myself or the field to myself. We actually just set some deer cameras yesterday, me and my son. So we're looking forward to see what we capture on that and go forward.
Yeah, I just got my cameras up too, and I know some people have had them up for at least a month already, and I've just been jealous seeing some of these trail cam photos. So I finally got mine up and starting to see some deer. Saw my first buck on the trail camera. A nice little 6-point that'll be a good deer in a couple of years. So I got the itch. I'm ready. I'm ready for fall, Randin. Ready for it.
Heck yeah!
All right. Well, you got some openings for muskie guiding this fall with Lockjaw?
We got a few, mostly weekdays left. All my weekends have been booked up for quite a while now, but we got some weekdays open. If you've ever wanted to catch a muskie, September, October is the time to do it. And the muskies aside, it's a great time of year just to catch anything. The crappie school up, the walleye school up, everything's down there and ready to rock and roll. So best time of year is upon us right now. We're just getting into it.
And how do they reach you if they want to book a guided trip?
Well, the best thing to do is we're currently getting a new website built. So the one that's on there now will stay up, but we're getting a brand new website built. And so the best way to get a hold of me is just give me a call at 218-640-0158.
All right. And, of course, you want to find out more about Ottertail Lakes Country, go to ottertaillakescountry.com. Randin Olson, Lockjaw Guide Service, thanks for the time today on the show.
Thank you.
Northern Minnesota's Walleye Factory is a year-round world-class fishing destination. The perfect getaway this summer is just a short drive to Lake of the Woods. Fish Big Traverse Bay, the Rainy River, or visit the unique Northwest Angle. To catch big fish, you have to go where the big fish are. Plan your trip to Lake of the Woods at lakeofthewoodsmn.com. That's lakeofthewoodsmn.com.
Yes, Lake of the Woods, that giant walleye factory in northern Minnesota, mostly known for fishing, and as well it should be. It's one of the best fisheries in the world, really, when it comes to walleyes in particular. But the area around Lake of the Woods shouldn't be ignored either for some incredible cast and blast opportunities. And to tell us more about that right now, Joe Henry is going to join us from Lake of the Woods Tourism. Joe, how's it going?
Hey, Bret, I'm doing well. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. It's almost my favorite time of the year. It's almost here. I'm excited.
I can tell you're getting in a better mood. I know what's coming up.
Oh yeah, hunting season is very close. Not just hunting season, but cooler temperatures. Like, man, when it gets over 70, literally when it gets over 70, it's unbearable to me. I'm not a fan of it. I like that low to mid 60s is my favorite temperature. Even some of those 50s are getting down into the 40s at night, and we're real close to that kind of those kind of weather conditions here in Minnesota.
Good sleeping weather, as they'd say. It's funny because there's some people that get so bummed out because summer's going away and what we have ahead of us, right? But if you're an outdoors person, whether it's hunting or ice fishing or fall fishing or whatever the case might be, you got some really exciting things. I think that's, even if you really miss summer as an outdoors person, it kind of, how do I say it? Kind of greases the skid to slide into fall and slide into winter, because you know the great opportunities that are coming.
Well, and obviously I start to think about hunting because I've been doing quite a bit of fishing this summer, so I'm excited for the hunting seasons. But we say this all the time here on this show, and everybody says it too. It always becomes a challenge on what you're going to do when the fall time comes around, because fishing gets really good in the fall as well.
Oh, geez. I mean, so yeah, take Lake of the Woods. I mean, first off, you got the fall run of walleyes on the Rainy River, and that's dictated by those emerald shiners that run up the Rainy River. Every year is different. This year the water's low. How's it going to be? Tell you, we get surprised every year, so who knows? But normally there's a great tradition of fall fishing on the Rainy River. Secondly, Big Traverse Bay, that great big open water. We know there's going to be fall fish movements like there is every year. There's going to be a huge schools of walleyes and saugers set up in front of the Rainy River, which is called, Pine Island Lighthouse Gap. They're going to be out in front somewhere. And the technique to be catching them is going to be anchored up and jigging with probably frozen emerald shiners. That whole South Shore, all the way from, Morris Point to Zipple Bay to Long Point to Arneson's, that whole shore is going to have pods of fish setting up along that shoreline, kind of gearing up for the winter. And then, of course, the Northwest Angle. And fishing's been phenomenal up there as it is right now. In the fall, it's really kind of neat because you're fishing the underwater points. You're fishing neck down areas where there's a little bit of current. And sometimes you're even fishing bays, Bret, where those emerald shiners will school up and those walleyes will take advantage of it. So, and that's walleyes. How about muskies? How about pike? I mean, it's just phenomenal fishing. It's so good. And then, of course, shifting gears, we talk about hunting a little bit. And, Lake of the Woods is so fishing centric, especially for walleyes, But I'll tell you something. The hunting opportunities we have at Lake of the Woods, first off, we're not a real expensive area, and we're not that cosmopolitan place where you got to be part of a hunting club to go out hunting on Lake of the Woods. First off, we have 3 species of grouse: ruffed, spruce, and sharptail. And we literally have hundreds of thousands of acres of public hunting land. Hundreds of thousands of acres. It's one thing to have huge expanses of forest that you can hunt on. It's another thing getting accessibility to them.
I'm sorry, Joe. I don't mean to interrupt you, but I know we always, fishing gets the precedence up at Lake of the Woods. But I'm looking at this post that we have from Lake of the Woods Tourism Bureau Facebook page, and somebody commented saying, "Well, it was off the radar until this post." Don't give away all of our secrets. It is really, truly a lot of property up there, and having 3 different grouse species to go after, that's pretty unique.
Well, it is unique. It is unique, and probably the most sought after is a rough grouse, as you know, very good eating.
Delicious.
They call it the chicken of the North Woods, and they're in big numbers up there. You got the spruce grouse, and Bret, have you eaten spruce grouse?
I've never had a spruce grouse actually. No, just I've had Sharpies, but not spruce grouse.
And spruce grouse are going to be a little bit stronger flavor, more of that dark meat. So some people harvest them, some people like them, but most people prefer the rough grouse. And then, of course, sharp-tailed. And, how do you like sharp-tailed grouse for eating?
Honestly, I'll cook it almost like I'd cook a duck. You don't want to overcook it. It's you kind of want to cook it that medium rare, pan fry it. That's my favorite way to cook a lot of meat that's got that darker. It's it's almost in that spruce grouse territory, and cooking it like that, you just don't want to overcook it. That's the biggest thing. No matter how you do it, you don't want to overcook it.
That's a kicker. Those sharp-tailed grouse, they like to hang out in that agricultural area that butts up against the forest land, and just a little bit different habitat. The spruce grouse are a little bit more related to the pine trees, and I think that's one of the reasons they get a little stronger flavor too, is their diet. But nonetheless, and then of course you get woodcock, and there's a lot of woodcock around. In fact, there's woodcock that live in the area as well as migrate through. So you really have some great opportunities. And then of course, shifting from, and I should mention too that the accessibility to these forests. For instance, Beltrami Island State Forest is a great big hunting destination. Lots of land. And there's dirt roads that go through it. There's ATV trails that you can either take ATVs or certainly walk. And then there's actual dedicated walking trails. The Minnesota DNR combined with the Rough Grouse Society up at Lake of the Woods, they've worked together to create like 2 new walking trails almost every year. So there's spots where you go and you park your vehicle. They have a nice map on a post that shows you the trail through the woods from an aerial view. And when you walk these trails, not only are they in great grouse habitat, they make a great big loop so that when you're done walking this trail, you're back to your vehicle again. Just really a neat opportunity, and it's just unique. So that's grouse. Now we shift gears to waterfowl. And there's a ton of geese in the area. I will say some of the farms are locked up for land. It's a little bit tough getting on some of those farms because families hunt them and things. But I'll tell you this much: the water opportunities for waterfowl hunting in general, duck and goose hunting, it's all over the place. And I don't know if you've ever hunted ducks or geese up on the water, Bret, but I've done the duck hunting on the water up there, and it's cool. I mean, you can go out, set up deeks pretty randomly on some of those South Shore areas of Lake of the Woods, or up on some of the points up at the northwest angle, and have some of the best darn shooting you can ever have.
I know diver hunting, it's not the same as it used to be just about anywhere, realistically, but it can still be pretty good. And that's one thing I would like to do up on Lake of the Woods, is chase some divers around out there in the water.
Well, and I'll tell you, there's also a couple of duck guides, waterfowl guides, up at the northwest angle that actually have layout boat hunting.
Oh, yeah.
They actually go at a Flag Island resort. If anybody
we have to do that. If you're watching, get a hold of me, because Joe, you need to hook us up, because we need to go up. We'll film a Prairie Sportsman episode doing that up there.
Well, and I'll tell you, Lake of the Woods is a unique body of water. There's only a few bodies of water that you can do layout boat hunting, I think, in Minnesota, Bret, and Lake of the Woods is one of them.
Yeah. They tried to change that. I think that was one of the potential suggested changes for the waterfowl regs this year, but it didn't pass. So there is just a handful. I think Superior, maybe Pepin, Mille Lacs. I think I'd have to check the regs to be sure. I have not yet done any waterfowl hunting out of a layout boat yet, but it's something that's on the list. So that would be a lot of fun to do up at Lake of the Woods. And, as dry as it's been this year, Joe, coming back to the Rainy River and fishing, I know we got some rain this week, some much needed rain this week. But how had the Rainy River been as far as level-wise recently?
Yeah, I mean, if I say low, it's not going to surprise anybody. It's been low, but it hasn't been unnavigable or anything like that. It's lower. So then, naturally, you just got to be careful with navigation. But I will say this, is that when you have less water, your fish are more isolated in deeper holes and things like that too. So in many cases, it gives them fewer spots to hide. So it's been, fishing's been very consistent as far as that goes. We talk the Rainy River, like right now, there's fish all year long in that Rainy River, and it's a multi-species deal. And I'm not saying that that the Rainy River would be my first choice to catch walleyes right now. But I'll tell you what, if it's a blow day on the big lake, I could go in that Rainy River and either pull lead core with cranks down the middle, pull spinners in go-to areas, do a milk run, and chances are you're going to end up at the end of the day with a mixed bag of walleyes, saugers, probably smallmouth bass, some pike. You might catch a sturgeon, you might catch some bullheads, you might get a sucker. But I mean, there's a lot of different kind of fish in the river, and it just amazes me how some people in the summertime just think they can't fish the river. There's no fish there. I mean, my goodness, if the Rainy River, Bret, all by itself was all we had, that would be a really good fishery all year long. Yeah. Certainly, it gets more full of fish in the spring and the fall. But the fact of the matter is, right now, it's a fun fishery.
Dan Amundson is with us, too. Hey, Dan, how's it going?
Oh, doing good.
Dan was telling me before we got you on here with us, Joe, that there was a tournament held recently up there at Lake of the Woods?
Yeah, there sure was. So we had the AIM fishing tournament had the Minnesota Championship up at Lake of the Woods. And, once again, I mean, and these AIM anglers are really good. AIM is that catch, record, release format. So all the fish get put back into the lake, which is really neat. And they really battled some wind this last week. They had some really windy weather, so had some big waves and stuff. And I believe the winning team came in with 10 fish that exceeded an average of about, 8 pounds. So once again, it was a real good tournament, and a lot of big fish were caught. And again, these are really good anglers. They're out there pre-fishing. They're getting these fish dialed in. But when you throw a bunch of wind into the mix, that can really change fish movement. Those fish can move a lot in a day or two. So kudos to everybody for figuring them out.
Well, that's what Dan was saying, is that maybe they had to go in and fish the river a little bit. And I don't know if they ended up catching some of those fish in the river, but it sounds like that was a thought as part of the tournament process this year.
Yeah, I think honestly, I believe that the people that actually won the tournament, I think they're out in the lake the whole time, and I think some people just battled the big waves. They got the boats for it, they got the know-how, and they just took their time. I can tell you from experience that when you're going head to head in big waves, you can go about 13 miles an hour is about all you can push it when you're taking them head on, and you just got to take it slow and be careful. But if you got the right boat, you got the know-how, and life jackets on, obviously, it can be done. I wouldn't advise it for somebody who doesn't know what they're doing, but in a tournament, these people are pretty good. I just saw I saw some of the waves you're showing, and hey, man, when Lake of the Woods whips up, it's it's big water.
So you're saying my 16-foot camouflage painted 25 horse duck boat probably wouldn't have been a good choice that day?
What, are you saying you're afraid?
No, because I went through some pretty big waves with it up there when I was up there last time. But we all made the decision that I'm bringing a bigger boat next year.
Did you have your dad with you when you're going through those waves?
I did, as a matter of fact. Yeah.
Better be careful there, brother.
Yeah. Well, he caught about the biggest walleye of his life that day, so we made it back safely, and it was worthwhile. And you'll get to see it on an upcoming episode of Prairie Sportsman.
I will say this too. When you talk about season things, if you have a smaller boat, it's good to obviously watch the weather. It's good to have your cell phone charged up in case you ever need help. And it's good to be smart about things. Stay closer to shore. If you need to make a run for the harbor, don't take chances out there. It's really, really big water. And there's other things you can do. You can always go out of an access on the leeward side of where the wind is. You can go in the Rainy River. There's 42 miles of accessible Rainy River. If you're up at the northwest angle, you can always hide behind an island, But again, it's got to be safety first. This is big water, and all kidding aside, it's nothing to screw around with.
And make sure your gas tank's full. That's when you go. That's.
Oh, he's speaking from personal experience.
No, of course not.
How about Dan? Is Dan? I got a feeling,
I can tell a story if I'm not going to get kicked off the show.
All of a sudden, Dan's muted. Look at that. Oh, darn.
It's a good thing you brought that up. I haven't seen Dan smile all month.
Yeah, well, I'm stuck at Bret's house. What do you expect?
We'll save that story for another day, Joe. But for now, if people want to plan a cast and blast trip to Lake of the Woods, what should they do?
Check out our website, and that is lakeofthewoodsmn.com.
852 million acres of public land, 147 million private properties, all in the palm of your hand. The #1 hunting GPS app just got better. With hundreds of custom map layers, 3D and topographic maps, you can easily scout on the road or at home before you go. And now you can get important weather details, CWD detection, and even know what crops have been planted where. Get the most trusted hunting GPS app ever made. OnX. Know where you stand with OnX. Sporting Journal Radio is a division of Macaba LLC. If you've got a question, comment, or story idea for us, send us an email. Go to sportingjournalradio.com. While you're there, you can learn how to advertise on the show and visit our store for hats, hoodies, coffee mugs, and more. Go to sportingjournalradio.com.